Okay, let's get... Just gonna wait one more minute. Get all my stuff. Hi everyone! Welcome, welcome! Are you guys ready to do some fun arts and crafts? I'm excited! Okay, so my name is Taylor and we're going to be making some fun arts and crafts today. Today we're going to do some jellyfish salt painting. So we're going to use a mixture of watercolor paints as well as also using some actual salt and some other fun things. So I'm sitting outside right now. It's not supposed to rain or anything, but in the event that it does, you will see me get up and go inside and we'll all be going inside together. But let me go ahead and start pulling out my things. I have my paper right here. I'm gonna rip a sheet out. So we have our sheet of paper, and of course, most important, we're going to need watercolors. Some kids you guys might have like a smaller watercolor set. This was like a cheap set that I got off of Amazon, so don't be intimidated by all the colors, but you can just use whatever colors you have. And then I have some salt. This salt thing has not actually been opened yet, so I'm actually going to need to do that right quick. I'm going to open this up right quick. Maybe use the back of this paintbrush to help. Okay. You may or may not hear some dogs barking in the background. I do have dogs, but they're staying inside while I'm doing my little craft with you guys. I don't want them going crazy or anything, so we'll just keep the kids inside. Let's see. Okay, I got a little hole right there for the salt, so that'll work. So I have my salt, and then oh yeah, all the supplies that you need can be found on the post that was posted this morning. Underneath the post, it has a list of all the supplies that you need, with the exception of I forgot to list that we need a cup with water because we are using watercolors, so you'll definitely need some water just to be able to rinse your brushes in between. But so make sure that if you don't have your water cup, you go grab one right quick while I'm getting everything out. I also didn't include that you need glitter because glitter is always optional, but it was a last minute idea that I had. I figured that using some different fun glitters at the very end might be a little bit more fun. So we will have our glitters off to the side. And of course we have to have a pencil just so we can sketch the it's easier if you're able to sketch the jellyfish and the seaweed at the bottom before you actually start going over it with the glue and all that. So yeah, so that's everything that we need to get started. So I'm going to lower my camera a little bit so you guys are able to see what I'm doing a little bit better, and it'll be easier to follow along. Okay, so first things first, we are going to need to draw an arc, and it's going to be a half of an arc towards the top of the page. You don't want to have it too low because we're going to have to draw the whole jellyfish, and you don't want to run out of space for your coral. So we're going to draw a little arc like you're making a rainbow. And then whenever you're going over it with your pencil, just make sure you do it lightly. I did it a little bit darker, but I'm going to go ahead and just erase it so that we'll have that leftover pencil marking there for us to see to go back over with our glue. So if you do it light with the pencil, that's fine. If you decide to do darker like I just did and just go back and erase it, that's perfectly fine too. And then you're going to do little squigglies at the bottom of the jellyfish going across the page. So, and make sure that they're like big, long, squiggly marks and not like, you know, super close together like you're trying to make super close squigglies. Just make sure they're drawn out and elongated. And then I'm going to go back and erase that as well. So then, once you have the head of your jellyfish, you're going to just draw little squiggly marks at the bottom of your the base of your jellyfish. So where we had those long squiggly lines, you're now going to make little squigglies going down. And make sure that you don't take them too long. You don't want the lines to go all the way to the bottom of the page because, again, you want to make sure that you're leaving enough space to have nice, pretty coral. And then you can make your lines different lengths. Your jellyfish tentacles, whatever they're called, you can make them different lengths. So this is going to be a shorter one. This is going to be a shorter one. This one's going to be shorter. And then I want to have some that are longer than others, but not too long. So yeah. So right there we have our little jellyfish already drawn out. I'm gonna go back over and make it a little bit darker so that I can show you guys where we should be at together so far. So right now, this is what your little jellyfish should look like so far. Very sketched out. It doesn't have to be perfect. And if you have like extra pencil lines anywhere, don't worry about it because we're going to go over it with some glue and salt and paints and whatnot, so it'll be covered up and you won't even be able to see it. So this is where we are so far. And then at the bottom, we're going to go ahead and draw our coral. I just like to do big, like, squiggly lines. Let me show you guys. So, and they can be going in any which direction you choose. So this is what my little coral looks like so far. Wait, there we go. This is what my little coral looks like so far right here. And we're going to draw another one on the other side of the page. If you want your coral to have, you know, longer coral arms or shorter ones, that's perfectly okay, completely up to you. So we're going to draw our other piece of coral. This one, I think, oh, there goes my doggies. This one I gave 4 little coral arms to. If you want to do 3 or just do 2, it's completely up to you. And I think that I'm going to, because I have this blank space in the middle, we can bring down some more of our tentacles. So this was a shorter one. I'm going to elongate that a little bit more. And I'm going to keep some short. I don't want them all to be too long. Draw another one coming right here. Just whatever you guys want to do, make it yours, you know, however you want it to look. So this is where we are so far. So now, if you are erasing like I've been doing, you know, make sure you get all the erase shavings off of your eraser shavings off of your page. You don't want that to be stuck in the glue whenever we go over this with glue. So Um, this is the glue bottle we're going to use. I have Elmer's. You want to make sure that the glue is the liquid glue and not a glue stick, just because the salt will stick better to liquid glue compared to a glue stick. So there we are. I'm going to go ahead and shake it up. And what you're going to do, my glue's not wanting to come out. Let's see. Uh-oh. My glue's not wanting to come out of the bottle for some reason. Oh, I think I found the reason. Okay. My cap just fell. Let me grab it really quick. Okay. For some reason, my glue's not wanting to come out of the bottle right now. So I am just going to, make it do. I have some paint brushes over here. What I'm going to do if you're, in a situation like me, I'm just going to put my glue, my bottle, my paintbrush down into the bottle, and we're going to go along the lines. So everywhere you drew your jellyfish, the tentacles, the coral, you're now going to outline with glue. So we're going to outline that with our glue. And then feel free to go ahead and start coloring in the inside of your jellyfish. Really spread out the glue. What you really don't want is, and this is what I've noticed whenever I do this with some of my kiddos, is that they like to really go crazy and make the glue super thick on the page. And that is the opposite of what you want. Because when you have a thick layer of glue that you are trying to get onto your page, whenever you go and add your salt, the salt clumps onto there and it looks a hot mess. Like, it looks crazy, and we don't want that. So as you can see, I'm going ahead and just coloring in my jellyfish, painting my jellyfish with glue right now. Let's see. Just painting in the lines with the glue. Making sure it's getting not too thick, but just thick enough on the page. And then getting some more glue. Going to go ahead and get those tentacles. And you might not be able to see, you might not be able to actually see where the glue is going, just because it's white on white. So like what I'm doing right now in certain areas where I can see it's not really sticky is I'm going ahead and I'm just tapping my finger on the page just to make sure that there is an ample amount of glue on the page. Okay. Going ahead and getting those tentacles really well. And like right up top right here, I don't know if you can see, I did get some of the glue on a little bit thicker, so I'm just going to take my brush and make sure to thin it out by just moving it on down the page onto the entire tentacle, because we don't want too much glue, because we don't want our jellyfish looking clumpy and weird. Okay. And I'm almost done with the jellyfish, and then I'm going to move on to the coral. And I'm going back behind some of my lines, and I'm just thinning out that paint again, or not the paint, thinning out the glue again. And whenever you're thinning it out, just make sure that as you're thinning out the glue, you're moving with the motion that you drew your tentacle. You don't want to just move it in a straight line, because whenever you go to apply the salt will go wherever you put the glue. So just keep that in mind, and just remember not to make it too thick. And don't worry about, we do have some blank spaces on here, but we're going to go back and we're going to paint some water around our jellyfish, since jellyfish live in the sea. Okay, I'm almost done with my coral. Now at the very end, it won't dry super quick. It will take a little bit of time to dry, so just make sure that when we're all done, you do leave your creation to dry. Okay, so I am all done with the glue, and this is where I'm at so far. So now what I'm going to do is take my salt, and I'm going to sprinkle it all over the whole page. Just shake that salt right on there. So, some of you might want to get some help from your moms and dads. If you're not outside like me, make sure you're shaking your salt over a trash can, just to cut down on the mess that you'll have to clean up from the salt. But I'm outside, and it's a little bit breezy where I'm at here in North Carolina, so I'm just going to shake it onto the ground and let Mother Nature take care of the rest. So there are some areas on my jellyfish that I noticed didn't get enough glue. So I'm going to go back with my paintbrush, and I'm going to apply a little bit more glue. And I'm going to apply a little bit more glue, and I'm going to I'm going to put more salt on top. And just shake it. And then there's one more spot that I need to add some of this too. And I'm not too worried about getting salt all over, just because when we go back over it with our watercolors, the watercolors are going to go all over the page, even if it's not like where the salt is. So now you get to use whatever colors you decide. We're going to move on to the next part, which is the painting, the best part. And this is the part that you get to just choose whatever colors you want to use. But whenever we do this, so you're going to get your paintbrush wet, of course, because we're using watercolors. And I'm going to, it's starting to sprinkle a little bit here. So, or, yeah, it's okay. I'm going to get some watercolors and I'm going to grab a pink. Now, whenever you are painting, you don't actually want to rub your paintbrush back and forth. You simply want to dab, okay? So make sure you're dabbing all this onto here. Dab the paint, rub it in here, and just dab your colors onto the salt. So it is starting to sprinkle a little bit here. So what I'm going to do is transition inside right quick, but I'm going to keep you guys on live. I'm going to just pack up some of my things. And I'm going to grab this. And we're going to just quickly transition right quick. Okay. Now we don't have to worry about, well, I don't have to worry about getting too wet or anything. So let me put down my paper and we will continue with our art lesson. Okay. So, where were we? Oh, yeah. So, I have my paint palette right here. There we go. And remember, we're just dabbing the colors onto our jellyfish, because if you rub it, you will move the salt. And if you move the salt too much, then it's going to create that clumpy effect, and we don't want to have our paint clumping. So I'm going to do pink on that side. And again, you're able to use whatever colors you want to use. But I really like the idea of doing a pink jellyfish. So I'm going to use a couple of different pinks on here. And so we're just dabbing this onto our jellyfish. And make sure that you continue to wet your brush just so you can get as much paint as possible. off of your palette to put onto your jellyfish. And I'm taking my paint and I'm putting it around my jellyfish where I have my pencil markings just to cover that up. And what you'll notice too, which is what I think is super cool about doing this activity, is that whenever you put it onto the salt, you'll notice that the paint will actually start to move. It's like it's traveling on its own across the salt. So keep that in mind whenever you start to blend your colors. If you do more than one color on your jellyfish, just keep that in mind, because you don't want two ugly colors bleeding together if that's not what you really want your jellyfish to look like. And I'm about to add a new color onto here. I'm going to do a darker pink color off of my palette. Right here. Do this darker. And then I don't know if you noticed how my pink started to kind of travel against my salt as I dab it, which I think it's super cool. And the first time I did it, I was like really amazed by it. Make sure you continue to wet that brush. And whenever I do my jellyfish, I like to kind of, I don't want to say like make my jellyfish color symmetrical, but if I have one color on one half of my jellyfish, I want to add it to the other half. So you'll notice me going back and forth between different sides of my jellyfish. So I'll go on this side a little bit, and then I'll get more of my color, and I'll go back to the other side. And I'm going to get it around those edges good. And I think that for my next color, I will do a purple, because I think a purple would be a nice touch to the jellyfish. So since I'm running out of space to do part on one side, part on the other, I'm going to start moving from top to bottom. So, oh, yeah, there it is. So I'm going to add some purple up here. And I'm going to add some purple down here as well. And so I'm going to keep going back and forth and doing that. I think that these colors go so well together, and I'm really loving how this is turning out. I love it, I love it, I love it. And I'm going back where, because my glue didn't want to come out of the bottle so well, I wasn't able to get as much salt on the page as I wanted to. So you're going to see me go back and really add in those watercolors and darken up those white spaces, because we don't want white spaces. We want lots of pretty color. So I'm going to go back and get some pink over here. Try to fill in those dark, or not the dark spaces, the white spaces, sorry. We want to darken up the white spaces. And then if you're already done with that, you can go ahead and start painting those tentacles. But keeping in mind, I haven't started my tentacles. I haven't put any paint on them, but like how I said earlier about how the paint will travel, you can see where, well, let me flip it around. You can see on mine where the paint is already starting to move down those tentacles. So you might want to do colors that kind of go with what's already going down your tentacles if they started, if the paint's traveled down them like mine has. If not, do whatever it is that do whatever colors you want to put in there. I'm still going in and adding more color to my white spaces. That's the fun part about arts and crafts. It's all about trial and error and just going with the flow. Just adding in more color. And I'm going to go and add some more of that pink, that darker pink, pinkish reddish looking color. And I'm going to add, I think I'm going to do some blues for the tentacles. I think that some blues would be cute. And with remember that, like, especially because we're doing lines here and there's a lot of salt on our lines, that you're just tapping, not tapping, but just dabbing that paint onto the salt, because it does travel, and especially the more paint and water that you have on your brush. So I just did that one color, but I like to do them different colors as well. So I'm going to do a different shade of blue for right here. And I'm going to take it part of the way down. Ooh, wrong blue. Take it part of the way down. And then I'm going to get another color. I'm gonna get an even darker blue, and I'm gonna take that all the way down that tentacle. Let's see, I'm gonna do that same shade of blue over here. And I think I'm going to do another shade of purple with my pink because purple and pink are so cute. And then in the middle right there, well, let me get a little bit more of that purple color. And in the middle right there, I guess I'm gonna have some unicorn tentacles because I'm gonna do purple, blue, and pink. So let me get a blue and we'll have a unicorn tentacle. How cute. Okay. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4 more tentacles to do. Let's see. Here's a shade of pink I have not done yet. Start from the bottom. And I'm going to add in some purple as well. Because why not? Let's see. Do you guys think I should do my coral green or should I make my coral a different color instead of green? Or should I do a couple of different shades of green? Comment below and tell me what you're thinking. Should my coral be green or a different color instead of green? Doing some blue over here. And I'll add some purple into the middle. And I'm just adding these colors wherever. Add some blue too. And just make sure, I know I keep on saying it, I can't emphasize it enough, to make sure that you don't rub these colors on, but you're just dabbing. Dab, dab, dab. Okay, so right now this is what our jellyfish is looking like so far. I think it looks pretty cool. So now I'm going to do my coral right here. And I think I'm just going to do some green. And just dab that green on there. But I think I'm going to do a couple of shades of green because I think that the more colors you have, the more fun the pictures look. So I'm going to go over and I'm going to first just do this light green color. And now I'm going to take another shade of green off of my palette. another shade of green, and I'm going to add that into the mix. And really make sure to get against those lines where you had outlined the coral. I'm going to add one more shade, like a darker green color. Super cute. All right, we have one more coral left to do. So I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to start with the lighter green. I'm going to take that all over my coral seaweed. Is this seaweed or is it coral? I keep on calling it coral, but I'm pretty sure this is like a seaweed. Oh well. So I'm going to take that. And on the outside, I noticed that I did get some salt onto the outside of my seaweed coral stuff. But I'm going to try not to get it onto that excess salt, but keeping in mind how it does travel, it might be a little bit hard, but it'll be okay because when we take our brushes and go back over the picture to create our water effect, um, it should cover up um, where that green kind of made its way onto the outside. So I'm gonna do this green now. And then I'm going to do my dark green. And really take that onto the outside of the seaweed. What do you guys think? Does it look more like seaweed? It looks more like seaweed now that we have the green, but if we would have done different colors, do you think it would have looked more like coral? I don't know. But so this is what we have so far. So now we're going to take our brushes, we're going to grab a blue, and we're going to paint the rest of all the white space a blue color. And then we'll have our jellyfish under the sea and we'll be all done. Okay, so I'm going to do, I really like doing a lighter blue color compared to a darker blue, just because I feel like the light blue really, it looks better. So I'm going to, well, I have this blue right here. So I'm going to grab this blue and just start painting. And really make sure, because you are using watercolors, really make sure that you dip it into the water and keep water on your brush and then dip it into your paint. So we're going to go up, over, going to keep on getting in between those spaces. and really just blending that out. Trying not to get too close to the tentacles, but it's okay if we do. Okay. I'm going to bring it out over here. Get that. I'm going to go to the top. I know I'm jumping all over the place with my painting and whatnot, going from the top to the bottom and just doing whatever, but it's okay. Because at the end, it'll all be painted and it'll look super cute. So I'm really trying not to get too close to the jellyfish just because I have different pinks and purples, and I don't want to bring that pink or those pinks and purples out into the water just because water is not pink and purple. So you're going to see me really easing my way around the jellyfish and just trying to get the blue as close as I can to it. But if it's not perfect, it's okay. But let's just keep going. Oop. Yeah, see, I got it on my jellyfish. Working my way around these edges. Trying to keep that side to side motion, but I have to thin out. I don't want my picture to collect any puddles of watercolor paint, so I'm just doing whatever directions it requires to thin out those spaces of puddle accumulation. Getting a little bit more paint. And over here, so I do notice that these paint colors are the same right there. So what I'm going to do is I'm about to get a darker blue right quick and just put that darker blue onto my tentacle right quick, just so it'll be easier to distinguish between what's the water and what is my tentacle, since the colors are so similar. Or I think they're the exact same, actually. So now I'm going to go back over here some. And I think I have one more tentacle that's like that. So I'm going to get some purple and add that just so you see different colors and not a bunch of blue. So I'm going to get back to painting my water right quick. And like right here, I found a spot where the green had got outside of my little seaweed. So I'm getting my paintbrush wet. I'm gonna wipe it off with this paper towel right here. And I'm just gonna kind of push that salt back toward the seaweed so that we don't have like a whole bunch of excess salt and excess green flowing into our water. And then I'm going to get my brush wet again, grab some more green, and I'm going to go back over it right quick. Wipe that off, and then I'm just going to push that salt one more time so it's just the way I like it. So let's finish up with our water. And it's gonna be, because salt's loose, it's gonna be like over your picture a little bit, but that's perfectly okay. Um, it'll still look really, really pretty. Trying to get close to those tentacles. Get up there where that pink is. And if it happens to get on my tentacles, then it happens. It's no big deal. Okay. I'm gonna bring that color down. Push some of that salt back with the brush, the flat end of the brush right here. Push that salt back this way. And at the end, if you guys want to post some pictures so I can see how your jellyfish turned out, I would love to see them because I know that they look so good. And I know everyone did such a great job. Getting that all around there. And then I'm going to get a little bit more blue just to finish off these white areas. And if you notice, like whenever I do my brush, I might bring it straight down and then I go back over and I do the side to side, left to right paintbrush movements just to kind of not have my painting look have a bunch of streaks in it from where I move my brush in that direction. We don't want streaks. And I'm going to take my brush, get a little bit more water, get water and paint on the brush, and just go in between go where those white spots are in between my tentacles to kind of minimize the amount of white space. And we're almost finished. Going against those spaces. Getting the edges really well. And we're all done. So this is what my finished product looks like, my jellyfish swimming under the sea. So I had so much fun doing this with you guys. You guys can catch me at 7 p.m. to read Amina's alphabet for story time tonight. So I hope you enjoyed this enjoyed the arts and crafts with me, and I look forward to seeing you next Thursday, or actually this Sunday. I will be going live again this Sunday to do more fun arts and crafts. Thank you guys for joining me. Have a great day. See you later.